Dave here. How are you? I'm going to take you through the construction of this little split top kneeling saw stool. Most saw stools are very narrow and you have to throw your leg up over the top of the thing to actually hold anything. This is a wider work surface and you can access it by kneeling down on it and cutting pipe, cutting wood, cutting whatever you want, or you can actually sit on it if you want to. If I want to stand on top of it, it's not going to tip. The top is not out past the bottom of the leg. Has a handle at the top for carrying it around. It's got a series of dog holes that are 20mm diameter for clamping, and it has a tray in the bottom for putting your tools in that you're using: hacksaw, chisel, some dogs, hammer, all that kind of stuff live down there in the bottom. All right, let's get into the construction. Now, the type of timber that I made this from was pine. It was clear pine, not knotty pine. Knotty pine tends to twist and warp around a little bit, and you don't want that to happen. Now, the angles for the legs is 7 degrees. Now, with the legs, I drilled a hole here, 20mm diameter. Now, the reason I drilled that there was to stop any splitting from here down. These cuts here, you can either do with a rip saw, by hand, jigsaw, or a bandsaw, whichever you've got. I did a combination. The bandsaw is a whole lot easier. Now, the other thing we have to do is we have to create the checkouts up here in the leg to accommodate these top stretches. Your parts tray or your tool tray, whatever you want to call it. So 7 degrees there again, of course, and glue it all together. I put a dowel in the center just because it looks nice. It does do some work. Glued it together. I took it over to the CapEx and I just cut it all in one hit. Done. 7 degrees. Make sure you got the length correct. Cut the other end. So far it's pretty easy. We're going to screw the tool tray to one leg to start. So to do that, we will draw a line across here, just above that hole, square across, and then we'll put a clamp on it, drill a hole and a countersink. So we'll drill a clearance hole and a pilot hole, screw it on, and then we'll set the other side up with the line at exactly the same height as the other leg. So it's a bit awkward. So the leg, the height from here to the base will be exactly the same as from there to there. And then we'll put a clamp on it and then screw that together. Now the thing is, we'll put one screw in first on this last leg, or the second leg, and then we'll put it down on a flat surface, clamp it up again, and then drill, countersink and screw. That will stop it rocking. Very important. Once we have all that done, then we can put the stretchers in. The stretchers can get drilled, countersunk, screwed, and then we can cut the top to fit. Now you can make the top one of two ways. Either you can get two individual boards or one board on its own and then cut it down the center. Now with the two individual boards, what you need to do is clamp them together, because you're going to want to drill a hole here and here. So that's a 20mm hole that I've drilled at either end, and then I've got a series of dog holes as well that are 20mm. These are really handy for using specialized clamps and also for using dogs to stop things rolling around while you're working on them. It works. Once we've got these holes drilled, we can take the clamps off, and then we can go over to the bandsaw or handsaw or jigsaw, whatever you've got, and we can join from the outside of the radius to the outside of the radius there, and then get in there with a spoke shave, clean it all up, and some sandpaper. And these areas here, all around, we're going to do with a 45-degree chamfer. Nice. Now, why are we going to do a 45-degree chamfer instead of a 1/4-inch roundover? Like, why not have a roundover down there? We want a V shape here that's going to be able to stop bits of conduit rocking. I want to be able to lay a conduit in here on top to cut it to length if I'm working with electrical conduit or small diameter pipe. So that's what they're for. We want that gap. This gap between, for me, was very important. Now, how I did that was I set my domino up to be 15 millimeters deep in the plunge for a 5 millimeter domino. The dominoes are 40 millimeters long. 15 and 15 should leave me around 10, but you can trim the end of the domino down a little bit if you want to. And so when you clamp it all together and glue it up, you are left with this gap. The dominoes will hold the two boards proud of each other. I like it. And then once you've got all that done, drill some holes and screw the top to the base. Now the important thing is to do what I say, not what I did. Now I had it so that the holes came right over the top of the leg. Now that was a mistake. Giving you a heads up. Put the holes further away. This is a grid of 96 millimeters and it works, but these holes at the end aren't as efficient as they could have been. I should have moved the grid around a little bit to accommodate the position of the leg at either end. There you go. Can you see it? You can't see through because Muggins here stuffed it up to put a finish on it. I took it all apart, gave it a sand, and then I labeled inside each joint. I'll show you A to A, B to B, C to C, D to D. I did that all over the place. One coat of hard wax oil, I think it was a satin, and then I gave it another light sand and another coat of hard wax oil. Now you might need to use a rag of some sort and apply the finish on the inside of these holes like that, or if you've got a smaller brush, you can kind of stuff it in there. But it's a good idea to get the inside of these holes coated and sanded. Right, put it all back together, and away you go. You've got a very, very handy stool that you can use for all sorts of projects. And when you finish the project, or during the project, you want to have a lunch break, you can sit on it. Thanks for watching. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click that link down the bottom there and leave a comment. If you like this kind of video more than what I was doing with live streams, please leave a comment and encourage me to do more like this. See you later.